Live. And I'll be right over there in a second, guys.
What's up, guys? We're back at it again. Yay!
Yay! All right. So how's everybody doing tonight? Got the guy stacked again. The head is ready to go. And so am I. Wow.
Yeah, you gotta light the candle.
Maybe. Oh, come on. Come on, guy.
It's a fan. There we go. There we go. Oh, we got one person. Who is it? Who just joined us?
Who's with us right now? Who's hanging out?
Who is with us right
Wow.
now? Speak.
Speak now, or no, just please talk to us.
Just speak.
Oh man, we're glad to be back at it. Sorry if I was bumping things around for a second. Chris and I have been doing some more work in the studio tonight. We've been trying to get some stuff edited. Right now, I think a lot of what we're focusing on is getting this kind of cleaned up so we have a good space to just work, because other than recording down here, we're actually doing work down here too. So
we've been off and on readjusting things. That way we can give you guys a better show and we have a little better space.
And I mean, we
Oh, hello, Joe. Thanks for joining us. He's one of the explorers I met on the other side.
What's up?
I
What's up,
sent
Joe?
him
Yeah, I think I've interacted with Joe a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, from the live premiere we did the other night.
Yeah.
Oh, there.
Belinda, what's up?
Hey.
We were actually going to give you a shout out tonight.
Zeb,
right here.
You named him. That's his name now.
Thank you so much, Belinda. No, we decided like we wanted to come back out. Oh, I bumped the mic. I'm doing you now. I'm doing the thing you did.
That's why I backed away a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have to move my chair a little bit.
Oh, we have another task. Can you name this frog? You got a good name.
Yeah, we got a frog here. He holds a little tray and everything.
We forgot what we named him.
I named him something Amish, but
if you can come up just like you came up with Zeb over here, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So how's everybody doing tonight? Oh, man. I'm really happy with how we got the studio going. It's a fun little area. I think Chris and I just want to spend all of our time down here.
Yeah. Yes, we do. That's good, Joe. Glad you're doing well and staying safe out there, brother.
And same to you, Belinda. I'm glad you're getting into some painting and, just keeping active. I've been trying to get into certain crafts and stuff like that. The other day I took some patches I got and I adhered them to some bags that I've been holding on to, some Corona bags actually, because Corona bags are really nice, feltish bags. And so I've been working on getting that into a little project so I can use them to hold supplies like magic supplies or D&D dice, because I do like to play the tabletop games. And you can see behind us, we got some of our other games, board games, things like that. We've got some of our books, reading material, just a lot of things. If you see something in the back that pique your interest and you want to talk about it, we can definitely talk about a lot of that stuff.
And whoever, Belinda, yeah, it did change a little bit.
Yeah, I know, Belinda. You were here last night, and as you can see, some things are already changing up a little bit.
Yeah.
So
To better our followers out there and stuff like you. I mean, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and shoot them down.
now, for the moment, Chris and I, on the roster of things to come, we're still working on that compilation video. We're gonna throw a video together of some of the elements that we've gotten from some of the live streams, like last night, tonight, and then we're gonna also combine a couple of our recent investigations before the past couple. So, like investigations of like late last year or mid to late last year.
I just want to point out we have a question from Facebook.
Okay.
From James R. Gregory. What's the one scenario that made you both believers? I'll let you go ahead and.
All right. Well, we talked a little bit about this last night, but the first scenario that ever made me really start to pursue the paranormal. I had a sleep paralysis situation when I was a young kid. I was in elementary school. I would say probably 4th or 5th grade, and I was sleeping in bed. It was midday, so it'd probably been like 1 or 2 o'clock. It was like a weekend. I think I was taking a nap, and I awoke and couldn't move. Now, sleep paralysis, there's a medical explanation for that. You know, there are plenty of things that have been explained and told on that, but the problem with the situation I was in was I did hear whispering, and also I wasn't free to like get up and actually start moving again until I started to say in my head, like, get out, get away from me, like you're not welcome, and things like that. And then all of a sudden I just felt the full release, and all of a sudden I can move, and I ran out of my room. That was the moment for me where I really decided to start pursuing the paranormal, you know? Good question, though. I'm glad we already we just started getting the stream going. We already got so many people interacting with us.
For me, it's been a lot of things, and it has to go back to my younger days of exploring. I'm going to tell you, if you go exploring to abandoned places, Joe probably would agree with me on this one. And that's a good question, James. That there was always unexplained stuff, and I always had the sense of everything was following me, and I can't explain the noises and the breaths. And this is before we had all this equipment. I just sensed there was something always watching me, so I just kept pursuing it, and that happens to me. Stuff happens to Tyler. Stuff happens to our other investigator, Erica, she can't join us. She's probably watching at home. Hopefully she's watching, but anyway, yes, that was a very good question, James. I appreciate that question.
Yeah. And, you know, for you guys, you know, we'll ask you the same thing. So on YouTube, I see, you know, we still got Joe and Belinda there. What was something... Now, Belinda, I know we talked with you a little bit last night, so we have a little bit of insight. But just for letting everybody else know, what was something in your guys' life that made you start to question things or to look in the paranormal? You know, because I definitely have that strong moment where I was like, okay, this is not normal. This is not something that is just typical situation. It's not just a typical, like, something you can explain with medical science, no, you know? Yeah. So I chose to start to explore things a little bit different, you know?
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to sleep better. I still had a little rough night, but thank you, James, on Facebook, for that great question. This is what we want to answer. We want to answer questions you have, your stories, share them. Yes, man. Thank you very much, James.
Now, something we did last night that I want to do again is we pulled a tarot card, and we explained a little bit about that tarot card, but we also used it as a way to maybe pick up a sign as we're going through these episodes, to kind of use it as a way to see if there's anything trying to send us a message to not just us in our own personal lives, because we can do our own personal readings, but just something for the podcast. So I'm going to do the same thing again tonight, guys. We have a wonderful tarot deck here. I'm going to shuffle it up. I'm going to pass to Chris, have him shuffle it up a little bit. We'll do the split the deck, pull a card, and then we'll talk a little bit about that card and what we think that means to us and to the podcast, or to the not the podcast, but the show. You know, because we're just going to call it a show at this point. We used to do the podcast, but now we're just going to call it a show. Yeah, and if you see us looking down and looking up, our cameras up here, but we have a display monitor down here, and that's where we're looking at like you guys, and we're watching the conversations and stuff. So if you see us looking down here, it's only because we want to really be keeping up on your guys' conversations and stuff. So
and I've been, for the Facebook comments, I've been looking on my phone right here since my computer wasn't working. You got a lot of technology. Works when you don't want it to, when you want it to work.
Yeah, technology plays its own games, you know?
Yes, it does.
So, but other than that, I think tonight we didn't talk about it too much, but I think tonight we're going to talk about some of our favorite cryptids. You know, I know Chris has got a couple of the things that go bump in the night that he's caught onto. I'm going to be talking about some things like the mirror men and some of those kind of phenomenons that people have walked out to, or, well, you know, ran into. And we might get into a little bit of UFO talk. We got into a little bit of that last night. We were talking about some of the things.
We didn't get too in.
No, last night was kind of an introductory episode, though. Last night we kind of wanted to just break the ice in a way. You know, it's kind of that first date material. We just wanted to open things up. When I get the clip video up, you can actually see some of what I feel are the better parts of us going over certain things last night.
Yes, and once we do more of these shows, we'll get more and more comfortable talking to you guys, answering these questions, and doing stuff. I mean, if you share your stories, and we'll share our stories, we go back and forth with this.
So, Joe, you haven't had anything specifically happen to you, but you're just trying to get a better understanding of stories. Now, see, I have a respect for that, because a lot of people who have never experienced something automatically just want to go the route of like, oh, no, there's no chance that there's anything out there. And the fact that, you know, you haven't had a personal experience, but you're still out there trying to like pursue things and to look into that, I really respect that, man.
Yes.
And Belinda.
At the Dream dishwasher was on fire. I told Mom about Dream. Our home was being leveled out a week later. I was helping my calm clean kitchen. I'm sure she's typing the story. Yes. Well, you can write as much as you want, Belinda.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. But Chris, why don't you go ahead and do a little bit of shuffling on that guy?
A little bit of shuffling.
Shuffling.
Sorry, we're not professional singers, but
but we're professional having fun people, you know? Yes. That's what we're here doing, these things while everybody. Wow.
What? That's crazy, Belinda. I have heard that from Joe. Comments correct. I have heard that from many people that it is not real. Yeah. I mean, Joe, let me tell you something. A lot of people can dismiss it as not real. It's like, oh, we got to explain it. The science. Yeah. It's hard to deal with these people, but we just take it with a grain of salt and explain our experiences, our passion, and I mean, if you have a strong opinion, and yeah, you can talk about all of it, but just don't be on there and troll and say fake, you know.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that Chris and I do whenever we're approaching these situations. We try not to be excitable. Try not to be the people who are like, ooh, you know, like everything is just like biggest reaction, whatever.
We're not pulling a Zach bait.
Yeah, exactly.
Every episode.
And it's just like we're not sacrificing our friends and sending our friend Aaron in every time we need to have something happen, you know? So it's like we just want to look at the evidence we have. Like we've gone through so much evidence and so many different things. And each time we've looked at all these different things, it's like, okay, that was something we really couldn't explain. So we pull that out and look at it a little bit harder. If after putting it under the microscope, we're like, okay, this is definitely something that is an abnormal thing, or it's something that we haven't encountered before. Chris and I look at it, we put it up there, and then we get your guys' opinions on it, because then it lets us be like, oh, okay, you know what? You know, say like Joe, say you like pointed out something, you're like, oh, hey, no, I actually know that sound. That's this kind of animal, or that's like the sound that this kind of thing makes. We'd be like, oh, cool. We didn't know that. Now we know that that's some kind of thing that can happen. And boom, we would be able to have the answer to that, and it would be dismissed. It would move on. But those couple of things that we have come across that have been like, oh, no, there's no way of disproving that, you know?
True. And while we're doing this, while you're talking about that, James R. Gregory on Facebook asked, what is your favorite piece of equipment and best experience with it?
Oh,
What did we talk about last night? What is the best tool?
I really like. I mean, other than just your own eyes and ears,
Well,
or
first is your body, Joe. I mean, James. Sorry.
yeah,
We're going back and forth. I'm reading both comments.
yeah,
I apologize. Anyway, yes. First is, like I said in the past about how I start experiences. My body tell me there was something always watching me, and but a actual piece of equipment would be my voice recorder, the EVPs.
yeah.
I mean, I captured some great EVPs. One that said my name, and one recently when we just went on a cemetery crawl here in our area, and it popped up.
And I talked a little bit about this last night, but I'll expand on it. One of the things I think is probably the most substantial is a thermal imager or just some kind of temperature gauge that can read spots. Only because, I mean, if it's a 30-degree night and you get a spike of 60, 70 degrees, or it's a 70-degree night and you put it in a corner and it's like 15 degrees, that's, to me, nothing can explain that. I mean, yes, okay, equipment can malfunction. All equipment, anything electronic can malfunction. But if you're having a situation like that where you've been scanning for, let's say, 20 minutes a room and it's pretty consistent readings, all of a sudden you get a drop of temperature of 20, 30 degrees. That, to me, is, there's no denying that. That's right there, So I would say that, some kind of thermal imagery or some kind of just temperature gauge. I like to use I use a Black & Decker temperature gauge. It's one of the ones that has like it casts the area it's checking the temperature of, so you can kind of by the light gauge where you're looking. And I've used that a couple times, and I've had some evidence from that. So
Joe says something about a toy that has those toys that have motion sensors, especially like a trigger object that goes into a location. If they touch it, it goes off.
Yeah.
Those like motion sensor. They have the balls, the 360 motions.
Yeah, he's actually talking about the old, I think, turn wheel toys when you're a kid.
Oh.
And you turn it and the arrow spins and it's like the cow goes moo. The chicken goes, like that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate James on Facebook with these questions now. But we're like he says, he's watching the YouTube comments. I'm watching the Facebook comments. So if my head goes up and down and all around, we're just trying to answer all your questions, all your experiences. Share with us.
Now, Belinda, I completely agree. Obviously, I feel like my camera, that's one of the best ways you're going to get that kind of evidence that somebody sees and they're going to be like, wow. And for the mic issue, I have the Samsung Galaxy S10, and I recently bought a USB-C mic that I can plug right into my phone. And I actually used that, and that's how I got one of my Squire's Castles pieces of evidence that I think is one of the better pieces of evidence I've caught myself. So I definitely think that getting that proper mic, and I didn't spend too much money. I spent like $10 on my mic, but it's just something that's better than the mic that's built into my camera or my phone. So that was definitely something that worked out for me.
Less interference from our previous investigation.
Exactly. And the investigation before that, I was trying out a new gimbal, and the audio was just terrible because the gimbal kind of distorted the audio my phone was picking up. Now that I have this new camera, I'm going to try them together and see if that actually works out better for me on my next investigation. We're trying to stay in, protect everybody, keep everything safe. But for that next investigation, I will be trying the gimbal with the camera to see if I can get a nice smooth video so I can see anything moving in the background and to get that good audio.
We're slowly upgrading as we go. So, and we learn from our past investigations what equipment works, what doesn't. So,
and Belinda, I completely agree. I've got 2 small children, and my daughter, we watch her monitor sometimes because with my son, he's only a couple months old, so he's up through most of the night and everything. But we try to get our daughter to lay down around like 8:30, 9 o'clock. About the time we're trying to do these shows, and that's part of the reason we do these shows at that time, so she's not running around and I don't have to worry about her up there terrorizing my wife. But I watch the baby monitor sometimes, and I see things on there. And also watching a kid while they're laying down, especially a toddler almost 2 years old, it's really weird because they'll talk to things that aren't there. They'll just stare at corners for like 10 minutes and stuff. And that stuff is very creepy. So baby monitors is definitely something I've looked at. I've just watched ours, and we had one style, and when my son was born, we bought another one so we could have two cameras and we could watch both from the one monitor. And that same thing, I just had some weird things where it's like, that shadow doesn't seem right, or oh man, are those actually like orbs moving across there? So I don't know. I keep an eye on it for sure.
Yeah, and trust me, we've had plenty of experience in this house alone.
And Joe, I completely agree. The mic I bought is actually a condenser mic that through the USB plugged into the phone, it's eliminating a lot of background noise, and it's a lot clearer, crisper sound. If you look at our Squire's Castle footage in comparison to some of the previous footage I shot before that, you'll see the audio is definitely different.
Yes.
Man, you guys are so active already tonight. I'm so happy.
I want to point out to James on Facebook, he also shared this stream. So now we got a bunch. We got a lot of people watching. So all those people that are watching on Facebook as well, if you want to throw comments down,
ask us questions, comments, anything like that. We're streaming right now on Facebook and YouTube, and we're bouncing back and forth between both. James asked a really good question that kind of sparked off a lot of this stuff going on right now, and thank you so much for that.
Those are good questions, James.
Just anybody. We're trying to have a lot of different discussions about paranormal. I mean, we'll talk about everything. We'll talk about paranormal. We'll talk about cryptozoology. We'll talk about aliens, UFOs. You know, you got my guy DB Cooper, got my guy CB Cooper or CB Pooper. I'm sorry.
Yeah, get right.
You got to get those jokes in early. We already started working on some inside jokes last night with the thing.
And Facebook and YouTube. If you want to give this guy a name.
Yeah. We're trying to name our little frog here, and just so stream can get a better look at this guy because he's a handsome young gent. You know, this is our guy here. He has a little tray. He's made out of wood. You know, we like our frogs. We actually have a couple of different frogs. We've got a frog with an umbrella named Barnabas upstairs. You know, so
we got names. Oh. For those new people, and I know Belinda already asked this, I'm just going to go out and name on my side. There's Bonehead, there's Dum Dum, Francis, Zeb, and Zeb Jr.
Yeah.
And of course, there's Ghosty from Haunted Road Media. Can't forget Ghosty, man.
Yep, exactly. And that's already named. That's their little mascot. We just have our own version because we really appreciate the folks over at Haunted Road Media. You know, shouts out to Mike and all that crew out there. Getting into just a little bit more. I didn't pull the card yet for that tarot I mentioned yet. Let's get into that real quick.
Yes, we don't have any more questions yet.
We're not doing full readings on that. We're just pulling a card.
Just one card.
As we talked earlier, I know some people have joined since then, but it's just to kind of explain some of the tarot stuff because some of the tarot cards some people don't know about.
We're not experts, but we'll try.
Yeah, I mean, I've been learning this stuff for a little while, and I definitely have found some guidance through some of that. But it also, we want to be able to talk about it, and we hope that each time we pull a card, it kind of gives us an insight or some kind of thought for our podcast and everything, and for the show. So let's pull this card now.
Podcast. That's why the name of this is By the Burial Ground in our crypt.
All right. So, oh man. It is the Chariot in the face-up position. So, let's look, guys. Let's do a little bit of research, and let's talk about the card, and then we'll see what we think, what we perceive as the intention of that for our show. So, get into this real quick.
If you want to throw any other questions while he's going this, go ahead and throw them down there on Facebook and YouTube because they're streaming from both. We want to share. We want to talk. We just want to tell you everything.
All right. So the Chariot pulled by two sphinxes, so you can see the black and white sphinx. And if anybody knows anything about the occult, about spirituality and things like that, black and white has a very particular meaning. Usually means like life and death, things of that nature. So let's get the
as he's looking at that, James R. Gregory says, as we learn together, yes. We all got to learn together, share together, learn together. It's all about that pair unity.
And the meaning of the Chariot card is a card about overcoming conflicts and moving forward in a positive direction. One needs to keep going on, and through sheer hard work and commitment, he will be victorious. So I think that just means that if we keep on putting these episodes out here, you guys keep on joining us, we'll keep pushing forward and just keep on having a great time and pushing through all this stuff, keeping ourselves entertained in the times where a lot of us are probably stuck at home and just enjoying some of this fun. So it was in the upright position. So that usually is a reference to overcoming obstacles, willpower, drive, a journey, confidence, ambition. So yeah, that's going to be, that's the card of the night. So we'll keep the Chariot face up. Yeah. So again, we're just pulling a card each night and just kind of talking about it, going back and forth on a lot of things and just, keeping everything spiritual.
Yeah, go ahead and check those other videos out, Joe. We appreciate it, man.
I do like Frankie for the frog. We've got Francis as the bat over here. So
Frankie.
We'll go with Frankie then.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. So we got Frankie, Zeb Jr., Francis, the Boneheads over there. Yeah.
Bonehead and Dum Dum.
Oh, man.
Yes, working together does get things done.
It does.
Yes, it does. Very. And she was probably saying that card was positive, so that's good. That card was positive.
Yeah, that was a very positive.
And it means a lot because we've been working hard so that we can share with you.
And it has been work, like we've put in the past 48 hours, we have put, I would say, at least 15, 20 hours into this place, just putting the basement together, getting everything together. You guys can't see what's behind the camera, but there's a lot of stuff going on around to make sure that we provide the best experience for you guys.
Oh, yeah, Belinda was with us last night.
Yeah.
She can probably tell the difference of the camera angles and all that good stuff, and there's stuff behind us.
Yeah, and you can check out the other live stream is up still. You can watch some of that and see some of the zany stuff we talked about last night.
On YouTube and Facebook.
Exactly. And we had a bonus episode on Facebook. So if you check out the Facebook, go to the BAPS page, we had a little bit extra for the Facebook group. And that's actually where a lot of our interaction with Belinda was.
Okay, I gotta, don't give me bad if I cannot pronounce your name right on Facebook. Mackenzie Kammerer.
Yep, I actually know the last name, Kammerer. It's a German last name.
I have never watched before. Could you guys give a quick explanation of who you are and what you guys do generally?
Well, I'll start us off real quick.
Start us off, sir.
I'm Tyler. This is Chris. We are paranormal investigators, and we kind of go with paranormal, not just ghosts or things like that, but we look at I've gone on Bigfoot hunts, not hunts as in like trying to shoot Bigfoot, but just trying to explore, find areas where potential Bigfoot has been found. Both of us have been going out and exploring apart from each other for over a decade together. We've been exploring for a couple of years together now.
Yes, and we have another investigator. Her name is Erica Franklin. She's a conduit.
Yep.
She draws a lot of the spirit energy every time, any location that we go to. So she's very important to our group as well. And that was a good, that was just a small explanation of who we are, Mackenzie, but that was a great question. So, and James has another question from Facebook. On a sincere note, but what was the saddest experience you've had? That is a good question.
Well, mine's pretty easy, and I'm not afraid to talk about it or anything like that. I lost my younger brother a number of years ago, and that was a big moment for me. So that was definitely a point in my life where things changed for me in not only a spiritual sense, but just in my life in general. So that's probably the saddest thing I've ever experienced by far.
And as far as the saddest experience, for me, there's a couple of them. Some things I don't talk about, only a few people know, but I will not talk about it here. So I'm going to choose another one. When I was married to my second wife, we were trying to have a baby and we lost the baby. And after that, everything just went kaput.
And that's unfortunately things that a lot of people have to deal with, you know?
It's unfortunate and it's very sad. So I know that spirit probably got reincarnated somewhere else and living a good life right now. But that was another good question, James. I love these questions. Any questions on the YouTube from Belinda and Joe?
Yeah, anything on the YouTube, guys? And keep them coming on the Facebook. You know, we want to talk to everybody. We want to talk more about stuff. One thing I want to throw out there, and anybody watching, just throw it out there in the comments. You know, we don't need any kind of order. But out of every kind of cryptid, you know, any kind of monster you've heard of, you know, your Loch Ness monsters, your Bigfoot, your chupacabras, anything like that, what is your absolute favorite or the one you wish you could see for yourself, you know?
See for myself? Now that I think about it, let's talk about Mothman.
Okay. The Mothman.
Mothman, if you read in certain places in West Virginia and Russia, a Mothman was sighting before a disaster hit.
Yep.
Then he was never seen again.
When that bridge collapsed in West Virginia.
The Chernobyl incident.
Exactly. And there are ties to Mothman in Southern Ohio, and we're from Ohio, and he had made an appearance there. So Mothman would be definitely the one you'd want to like see with your own eyes and everything.
I'd be fearful of what's coming.
Oh, it'd be terrifying. Yeah.
It'd be terrifying because we know he's from another dimension.
So mine would definitely have to be the Jersey Devil, just because the different elements. Yeah, I got the Jersey Devil right there on my patch. But the different elements of like the bat wings, the goat's head, the this, the that, the humanoid elements. I just would actually want to see what it looks like, what it actually would look like, you know, if it was a real thing. So that would have to be mine for sure.
What was I listening to on the podcast while we're setting up about the Jersey Devil? Story about the Jersey Devil. I know it's been probably explained a lot, but this was the new take on it. From Hillbilly Horror Stories, they got a podcast. I was listening on Spotify, and it's like, wow, there's some more stories on there, and they're still happening to this day.
Exactly. And, you know, to Belinda on the YouTube, thank you. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Belinda.
Everything we deal with in life makes us stronger. And no matter what it is, no matter to the level, you know, whether you were a soldier who served 3 tours in Iraq or a kid who had an abusive childhood, there's a lot of things that people have to go through in life, and you always have to persevere. And that's all we do in everything. And we are stronger for that. And everybody has their own things. I'm sure every single person in this who is watching this with us right now has had something in their life that's happened that somebody else definitely wouldn't want to feel that kind of pain. So we appreciate everything, guys. And we're always trying to keep this positive.
I have another question from Mackenzie from Facebook. What's your most exciting experience you guys have had together with your paranormal work?
Together? Okay, so it would either have to be, I think it's probably going through Parapsychon at the Mansfield Reformatory and meeting some of our idols, you know?
Yes.
Steve Gonzalez from Ghost Hunters and stuff.
Ghost Hunters,
Ghost Nation. And just all the different people we got to see there, and just seeing how many people come out, the vendors, the different just investigators who are amateurs like ourselves, because we're not on that pro level. We're not out there with, thousands of dollars in equipment. We're not being invited out to people's houses to do investigations yet, but we definitely want to get into a lot of that, personal, private investigation stuff. But being there and rubbing shoulders with all those people and seeing how many people are out there for an event like that, it was kind of an amazing feeling, because sometimes, unfortunately, when you get into something like the paranormal realm and all the different things that kind of surround that, whether if you're into UFOs and aliens, if you're into cryptids, if you're into anything like that, magic, all kinds of things, you can kind of feel alone. You can kind of feel like you're the only person doing what you're doing, because maybe you don't see a lot of people talking about it in your neighborhood or talking about it in general. but it's usually not the case. And seeing that many people, I think that would probably be the moment where, like, you and I together, that was a great moment for us.
That was a great moment. That was a very good moment, but I want to point out our most recent investigation, Squire's Castle. That was exciting.
Yeah, because we actually had some substantial evidence, and we felt a presence the whole time we were there.
Yes.
From the moment we walked up, we were in the parking lot, we were fine, and then as we walked up and approached the castle, there's a presence out there. And if anybody has not checked out our Squire's Castle video, check that out. But also just look at the stories and the lore surrounding Squire's Castle, so you can kind of get an idea of the location we was going into.
Okay. We get a good thumbs up from James R. Gregory and telling Mackenzie, these guys are real as it fucking gets. Just one of us trying to figure it all out at the same. Yeah. Exactly.
No, I appreciate it, James, and I appreciate
That's
you with that
comment,
with
James.
that question, Mackenzie, because
big thumbs up.
That's what we were looking for last night. And luckily, Belinda, she kept us entertained last night with asking us a lot of questions. Yes. I'm so glad that, we're only 35 minutes into this, or a little bit over that. And we've already had so much. I mean, we've literally been able to keep just conversations with you guys, yes. And that's awesome for us, because that's what we want.
Yes.
We want to talk with you guys. We want to learn more, and we want to get your guys' perspectives on stuff.
Yes, you talked about the grave last night.
Yeah.
How about the Yeti? This goes along the same lines of the Bigfoot. He's very secluded, and he's a champ at social distancing.
Yeah,
just like his cousin Bigfoot. But
no,
yeah.
The Yeti. Okay, so here's what I'll say about the Yeti, and it's gonna get a little political, but not in a bad way. So the Yeti is if you're thinking of the abominable snowman, you're thinking of the more, I guess you would call it, the polar bear version of the Bigfoot-like creatures. Think about it. How much of his territory is getting broken up and infringed upon with global warming and things like that? Hell, the Yetis might just be dying because they don't have that kind of way of getting to the food,
further up,
and they're trying to go north or south, to the poles, and they're running out of space. So that might be why we're not hearing so much about the Yetis.
And
I only joke.
Belinda has another thing. I would love to see Loch Ness, but then I don't. Humans are so cruel and would dissect. We can't leave well enough alone.
And that's true. It seems like every time we come across something that's new, we want to cut it open and look at it out. I'm a big fan of observation over interaction, and
people want to see it so bad, but
that comes to the living. When it comes to the dead, I try to interact to see if I can bridge that gap, But when it comes to animals or any of these cryptids, anything like that, I definitely want to focus on observing and not trying to cut it open or hunt it or put its feet on a wall or some kind of things like that. There are Bigfoot people who specifically just want to hang the feet on their wall. I don't understand. That's a foot fetish to another level.
Oh, Joe asked a question. What is your most exciting explorer or find? Okay. I'm going to get into something.
Oh, you can talk about the shadow figure?
Yes, I'm going to talk about the shadow figure.
I'm going to let Chris go on for a second because I know it's about to be good.
And the biggest and greatest location I have ever been to since day one is Molly Stark Hospital in Stark County. Because let me tell you, even if I was on the outside, there was something watching me. There's so many deaths in those hospitals. It used to be a whole tuberculosis hospital. And that's one of those times I saw a shadow figure. Probably, most likely, it would be classified as a crawler or a wisp. This will we get from Mike Ricksecker in Beyond the Shadows in his book. And the other one that kind of creeped me out, but was all excited about, I couldn't wait to share, was that EVP I caught of an intelligent spirit calling my name.
Yeah.
It said Chris. And at that time, when I was exploring Molly Stark, because he's been in there too, but this is before I was investigating with Erica, and it's just me and Erica, and it was a strong male voice. It was calling out to me. It probably wanted help. But I can't get grasp of that place because it's such a great location. It is haunted. It is. I can contest and I can show you the evidence. Okay, and now over to Tyler.
Okay, so what would I consider like the best experience or like anything like that? It unfortunately I didn't get a single. I mean, and I went over that footage a million times, but I didn't get a single piece of evidence from this investigation. But down with Jason and the Paranormal Den at the Malik House. The Malik House was one of the most draining. You could literally, it was like the doorway was a wall. You would walk through and you felt the energy. I literally walked in for a second, immediately went outside and meditated for 5 minutes, like a white light meditation, which if anybody's not familiar with white light meditation, it's a cleansing meditation where you just imagine a fully cleansing white light or some kind of pure light engulfing your body as you are doing your meditation and clearing your mind. There's a little bit more to it, and there's like a white light smoke meditation, and there's different forms of it. But I went outside and I literally did a white light meditation to try to clear my mind and just break off that immediately. And went back in and did the investigation. But that was, oh my God, the spiritual energy in that place. And Jason, the investigator we were with, that man hit the things that attract to him. He everything wants to talk to him. Yeah. Every spirit wants to talk to him. If he was in a room with 1,000 spirits and 1,000 other investigators, he would probably be talking to 999 spirits, and then there'd be one spirit who'd be just looking for him. I mean,
you came out the ones outside when we took a break, and you asked. Well, I went off, and you just can tell it in my psyche how drained I was after that first half of investigating the house. I was like,
yeah, we literally, before we even got in the car to drive home, we cleansed ourselves. We did a smudging and cleansed ourselves before we jumped in the car. Before we left the property. We had to. Yeah. It was one of the most intense nights of my investigating career. And I
most draining.
Definitely. Easily the most draining. Yes. I have never, ever felt half of that.
It sucks so much of our energy.
Something... And I'm going to call it evil. I'm not going to call it a demon. I'm going to call it evil.
Everything is demon.
Exactly. Something evil was trying to manifest. And we had some EVP stuff. So I can't say we didn't get a ton of evidence. We had evidence, but not the kind of evidence you would think for the level of feeling and level of energy we had from that, So, man, that was another amazing question.
That is a good... And you remember when you were filming me, because you couldn't really get up in the attic. It's kind of a step in a crawl space. But that's, now that I think about it, I did see something in the corner of the attic crawled. It could have been a crawler.
When you saw something up in the attic, I had an audio device up in the attic, and the audio I got back from it was distorted at points, but not anything that I could make significant.
And my video failed. It did not want. It did not want to be filmed.
Yeah.
And I jumped down. That's like, I had enough. I didn't want that house. I thank you, Jason, for letting us investigate that house back then. We're looking forward to working with Jason from Paranormal Den. He's also on.
Yeah, if Facebook, you guys are on the YouTube, on the Facebook, go check out Paranormal Den. A really great group over there. And they've kind of really been great with us over the past couple of years and just interactions, helping with investigations.
Two of our videos have been with him.
Yep. And like I said, we bought some equipment off of him as well one time, which, he cut us a really good deal on that. So yeah, check out Paranormal Den as well. We have one of our videos you can check out, or two of our videos on here. You can check out the Malik House recap. And then there's one other video that I put up here that's with Jason and Chris, where they were testing out the equipment whenever Chris bought it. Yep. Check those videos out and you can see Jason. And those videos aren't even an insight to the level of spiritual connectivity this guy has.
That could be why not much is said about the Yeti. Cleaning and protecting. Yes, Belinda. Yes, we've learned from our past investigations that we need to really get serious and we need to start cleansing. Something can attach and something can follow you. And we've had a lot of negative. We have serious amount of negative that's come into the house before where we decided this is enough. We need to cleanse.
Yep.
We need to cleanse.
Exactly.
There's stuff been behind our burial ground too that's happened to us.
And if you notice, one of the books I showed last night.
Yes, go ahead.
But just you can see, if you see that we've got some a bunch of sticky notes in here. These are literally bookmarks to different cleansing, different rituals, and things like that. So I don't have to worry. I don't have to check real quick. If I need to check the details on something, boom, I'm right there to go, you know. And there's even actually a whole segment in this book about exorcisms and things of that nature. I wouldn't be comfortable trying to perform my own exorcism at this point.
No,
I don't feel I'm on that level at all,
No.
and I definitely wouldn't want to do that. If it's an exorcism needs to be, and it's actually something demon related, the level of knowledge and the level of let's just call it experience, because that's all it really is. The level of experience necessary to handle something like that is well beyond most of the paranormal investigators out there today. You need a true demonologist, somebody who has studied in that and has literally spent not just time outside of whatever their normal life is studying, but has spent parts of their whole life just studying that, because there's some other stuff that goes on with that for sure.
Now, I have another question from James R. Gregory from Facebook. I mean, this is a little harder question because everything can be scary, but what is the scariest place in Ohio we locally can all visit? We have a lot.
I mean, Helltown.
Yeah, but that's a lot of legend.
But
we haven't really. We were on the outskirts with Jake.
True. I mean, if we go off our own investigations, technically, Squire Castle has been probably one of the most.
I'm just now thinking of it. Swift Mansion, Gore Orphanage Road. That's what we call it now because we looked into the legend. Legend's not true. Towards the end of that investigation, something screamed at us, and we all jumped in a car.
Yep, we got out of there. And it was actually one of the few times where we're like, nope, I'm out of here. I don't want to deal with this anymore. And that's close enough to some of that Helltown stuff, you know.
Yeah, it's because we will explain some of these locations in later episodes. We'll talk about the legend, and we'll talk about the truth.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you can't see it off camera, but I got my little investigation notebook. I write stuff down. I research. Research is your best friend. Find out the truth. Don't rely on legends. There is some truth with the legends, but they get exaggerated over time. And
if we're technically going off of something that we can all visit the Mansfield Reformatory. It's not something where like you can just walk through the door anytime you want to and go in. But they do allow people to do private investigations in there. They have events that are hosted in there. They do a lot of different things. The Tri-C investigators, not associated with Tri-C, the Cuyahoga Community College, but the Tri-C investigators, they have held events in there. The Parapsychon, what we were talking about, that's held in there.
Unfortunately, it was canceled this year.
It was. Well,
what's going on?
We have to deal with what we're dealing with. You know, people can't gather right now.
From Facebook says hi. So hello.
Hello.
What? Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for everybody joining us tonight, and I keep the questions coming.
This has been awesome.
I'm so happy that so many of you guys are interacting with us tonight. We're all stuck in together, so let's just have some fun.
Let's have some fun. Welcome to our Crypt, who are just joining us.
Pop open another beer, and like we said last night, whatever your poison is, poison yourself. You know, we're all having fun. We're staying in. We're not driving, so
no, we're not.
Be safe. Be happy.
We're safe in our Crypt behind the burial ground.
And I make sure my kids are down for the night before I get into all this junk. You know.
Yes. Any other questions? Go ahead and shoot them down on Facebook or YouTube.
Yep.
I mean, we were talking to Belinda the whole night last night. We want to put as much as we can out right now. We want to share our experiences, want to share other experience with you. And I think your mom just said hi.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she did. Yeah, it's right here.
I don't have one here yet.
No, it's probably behind. But on the phone, she says, hi, guys.
Now, James, live seance. We are working on that right now. Actually, it's unfortunate. We were talking about Jason from Paranormal Den.
That's right.
And we've had to cancel it a couple of times because his kids were sick. And I know how it is with sick kids. When your kids are sick, you don't want to interact with anybody. You just want to make sure your kids are taken care of. But we are going to be part of a live seance that he'll be hosting And
once this all
clears up and everything like that. Now, one of the things that we wanted to do live here that's not a seance, but something that we can teach people that is in relation to seances is we want to do on one of our podcasts, we're going to do a live sigil writing and teach you guys about a little bit of sigil writing. And sigil writing is projecting your will into the universe through the use of the alphabet and magic and stuff like that. So seances, yes, we will be getting into some of that stuff. And Chris and I might actually do one down here at some point. But the first one we want to see for you guys is we're going to have that one with Jason so you guys can see that and everything.
And
so
we did have, thanks to my wife, she gave us ingredient list for a protection bag. Because you got to stay protected out there, no matter where you go. If you think you don't need protection, guess what? Probably going to happen. Probably going to come home with you. So just be safe out there and stuff. And just be safe. Think smart. Research smart. Respect the living and the spirits.
Yeah.
Even the shadow figures. Even
if you're going out there and you're,
creatures.
you know, like with, say, something like the Squire's Castle, we were in a public park. We treated that park like we treated our own backyard. We make sure if we had anything with us, we didn't litter anything on the ground. We took all of our trash out of there with us, put it in the car. Any equipment wasn't left in an area where it could affect anything in a negative manner. We weren't stomping around on newly growing things or stuff. We stuck to the past that we're supposed to stick to. We're really trying to make sure when we're doing these things, we're being as respectful as possible to the living and to the dead elements. We don't like to engage with combative conversation with any kind of spirits and stuff. We're not the kind of person who's going to go out there, try to take off our shirt and be like, "Ghost, fight me right here, right now." You know, we're not into that stuff. Yeah. We want to make sure we're actually engaging and trying to have a conversation with something. We use simple language because you never know where your ghosts are coming from, what generation, what era. They might not even speak English, you know? No. You don't know that, you know? What if you're dealing with the ghost of an ancient, Native American warrior who had no idea about English, you know, and any of that kind of stuff. You know, if you're sitting there saying, "Hey, bro, talking to my Samsung," you know, like, "Bro, check me out on Facebook," like, none of that stuff is going to resonate in that ghost's mind or whatever. You know, it's not going to be able to interact with that. But if you say, "Hey, interact with this," or, "Hey, look at this box in my hand," you know, things like that. That simple language, stuff like that, just pointing to objects, you know, like sign language is so simple because it's just little motions that can convey a message, you know.
I got that EVP from that cemetery crawl because I said, if I want to hear you, if you want to talk to me, talk into this box. And I got a response. And I think Joe and Belinda had something. Joe, I want to go the other way. What was the most disappointing Explorer? Man, I don't think
nothing's been like disappointing. I will say one of the times we went to the Everett Road Cover Bridge was very lackluster.
Yeah, but there's a thing with that. It's not really a disappointment. As you just we talked about this last night as well. And you just can't go to location once and expect something to happen. Sorry, guys, that may you see that on TV, but guess what? In real life, it does not happen. You just gotta keep going back and back and back. But yeah, but after the last time, we still got some of that footage.
Yeah,
we interacted with the guide that I researched. We'll talk about the research in different locations on different episodes. But it's saying, I researched the name, and it came up through the spirit box. He said his name. He finally talked. Some of these spirits don't want to talk to you if they don't know you. You just can't go up to someone's door and say, "Hey, I want to talk to you." Here. No, you got to introduce yourself. You got to make conversation. You got to make friends. You got to come with a friendly.
And you know, some of these spirits have probably gotten pretty wise to how many people have gone out there. And if they're seeing that, like, okay, this person's been out here once, whatever. But if they've seen that, like, oh, hey, I've seen that same face 3, 4, 5 times out here. Maybe it's time I actually expose myself a little bit. I actually show this guy, oh, hey, there is some kind of activity here. boom, all of a sudden you're interacting with a spirit that nobody else has been able to, because it got wise. It just completely didn't acknowledge or didn't, allow itself to be seen by that person.
Right. And the same thing with Myrtle Hill. I've been there, that Myrtle Hill Cemetery. I've been there many times. That was his first time there. I've been there many times and had many experiences. They're starting to know me. That's a creepy cemetery, let me tell you. And we'll talk about that. And that one will be probably editing up and stuff.
Yeah.
Along with another one. We'll combine the two.
Think about it this way. I think this is probably the best way I could put it for the mentality of a spirit trying to manifest itself. So would you want to do 40 push-ups, 40 pull-ups, and then run 3 miles just to have some kid like Logan or Jake Paul come in and completely disrespect and like desecrate or like just act like an asshole in your area? And then you have to go through that much effort just to present yourself or to have a little bit of an interaction? No, we don't know how much effort it takes any kind of spirit or any kind of thing like that to draw that energy and manifest itself and actually interact with us. So to go on to something like that and think that the first time you're out there, something has to draw all that energy and interact with you, it's kind of arrogant, So that's why we revisit a lot of these locations. And unfortunately, there are some locations we can't revisit, but the ones we can, that's why we pop back out to. That's why if you check our videos, you see like, oh, hey, they've been out to this place a couple of times. And anything we could list that is a technical disappointment as an investigation, it just means it was one of the times where we didn't really have that level of interaction,
we did it once.
Or that was a time where things were quiet,
Yes, very quiet, because maybe he was sleeping. Who knows if they sleep in the spiritual world. But anyway, here's a quote. I was going to quote before I get to James' question. Melinda says she's going to binge watch. That's great. Go ahead and binge watch. You can binge watch on YouTube. Then there's a lot of the older ones on Facebook.
Yep.
I got a lot of backlog in there. And did we put out a Everett one on our? Yeah, that will be the first. But we got another one that we're going to bring out later on.
Yeah, we got a video coming up, and then we're going to have a chopped clip video of some of this live stuff too coming up too. Okay. So keep an eye out for that as well.
Thank you, Belinda. Watch.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, James Gregory again has another great question. Oh my gosh, these questions are so good. Thank you.
Ooh, haunted objects question?
How do you feel about haunted objects? Real, fake, obscure?
Oh, 100% real.
Some of them are real. Some of them people say, oh, claimed it or fake. You just got to watch out for those.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Now, do I believe that every haunted object is real? Not, no. I probably like literally less than 20%. But I'm just saying the idea of a spirit attaching themselves to an object, oh, that's easily like if I was a betting man, I would bet a lot of money on that. You know,
not every object is haunted.
No, of course not. Of course not. But if I was like, say I was an old man who passed away and I passed away and I had put all my work in, we're Mustang guys. So I put all my work into my, 69 fastback or something like that, would you want to attach yourself to that car after you pass? Exactly. Would you still want to be able to, there's a country song, I can't think of it, but it's about a guy buying a car and the soldier who owned the car keeps manifesting and showing himself. Yeah. Could you imagine just like rolling down the road in like a 69 Mustang and all of a sudden the guy who owned it before you appears and is just sitting next to you? It's like, hey, what's up, dude? Like that would be awesome. So I definitely think the idea of haunted objects is definitely something that could be a reality.
The same the relics that me and you have collected in the past too.
I have items from the Coral Castle down in Florida, the Mansfield Reformatory, and some other locations we've investigated.
Yes. And don't worry, we asked permission before.
And we cleansed them before we brought them into our household. So we're trying to be careful with all this stuff. Don't worry.
Yeah, we got the relics. Not every relic is haunted. They might have some energy. Yes. Negative or positive? No. But always, if you're going to bring something like that home with you or in a museum, please cleanse. Please do it.
And I'm not sure if you're still out there, but if you are, hi, Mom.
That was a great geez, James is having a. Thank you for sharing, James. Thank you for the likes, the questions,
everything, guys.
everything.
I mean, we're an hour into this, and we have been nonstop just on interacting with you guys. Like last night, we had to fill so much time with just us going on about stuff, which we do have a lot of stuff to talk about. But it's definitely was on.
Your mom says hi.
All right, cool. I love you. We had so much time where it was just us babbling to fill the dead air, where we would rather just be able to talk about the stuff with you guys and then go from there, you know? So I appreciate that so much, guys. And to have everybody here watching it with us and, you know, here in the studio with us, that's why we're hanging out.
Yes.
All right, come on. Somebody else give us another question, man.
Let's check out on YouTube, see what.
Yeah, I'll check over the YouTube real quick.
Over there.
Again, if you're just popping in with us and you see us looking this way, we have the monitor down here, and we got the camera up there.
We're still getting used to the camera up there. Because last episode
we had it like down a lot farther, but we wanted to have it up farther because we like having this set up better, and we feel like it like
still good interaction.
Yeah,
we're looking at the questions.
Well, and I'm not. I think people are more worried about us actually interacting, you know. Right. And exactly, Belinda agrees that there's residual energy. You know, energy attaches to objects, so
it could be residual, or it can be intelligent.
I was having a conversation about energy with a friend of mine after Charles Manson passed, and we thought about it, and we were thinking about that much negative energy after he passes being released into the zeitgeist at once. And that's a scary thought sometimes when somebody of that negative thought, somebody who their whole idea is hatred and negativity, when they pass away, you know, does all that negative energy then just go out into the world, you know?
Now, speaking of, now I've just been thinking about this, about the prisons I've been to, and even Squire's Castle. Anybody heard of the stone tape theory? Anybody?
Yeah.
Whatever, so much negative energy gets pounded into a place, it's like a recorder. It'll play it over and over. It's not exactly smart. No, it's residual.
Now, for where we're thinking about checking out next, that a lot plays into how things pan out with, unfortunately, this quarantine situation. But the next thing we technically have scheduled would be our seance with Jason. So as soon as things lift up and everybody's healthy, a seance with Jason, and then we've got some things coming up after that. I know Chris and I wanted to get down to West Virginia at some point.
That's still one that hasn't been canceled yet. Yes.
Yep. So we want to get down to West Virginia in June and possibly do an event down there and check out some of the haunted locations while we're down there. And I know, because you're my mother, I know you live down in West Virginia, so I know you lived in Parkersburg, so near some of these areas that were by some of these locations we're going to be going to.
Yes.
So
it's the penitentiary. There's also Indian memorial mounds, not a burial mound. It's huge.
Yeah,
right across from the prison.
And then we're going to try to swing through the Columbus area or the Cincinnati area too.
Yes. And there's also, and the same thing, an Archive of the Afterlife, hosted by Steve Hummel from Paranormal Quest. That museum. Wow. And if you haven't checked those guys out on YouTube, they're on YouTube and Facebook, Paranormal Quest. Recently, they just put out a very chilling episode of their investigating in West Virginia. I mean, not West Virginia, but Virginia.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So check them out. Oh, these are great questions.
Oh, everything is great. Thank you for that one, Mom.
Right. Let's shoot over to the tube. Oh. Any new questions for us, Belinda, since you've been with us from the beginning?
Technically yesterday, but it's still the beginning.
But these also, both interactions from YouTube and Facebook have been great.
Yeah, I'm really happy with everything going on, guys. Right now, time-wise, it's 10:30. We have at least another, I would say, hour or so we'll probably be on here. So we went till about midnight last night. I don't know if we'll be going that far tonight, but...
Oh, Ann asked, where in Cincinnati? I live in Cincinnati.
Oh, okay. So, Cincinnati. So let's check this real quick, because there's a little hotbed of areas around the Cincinnati area.
I don't remember it, but I have researched in the past of But also, technically, there's a plane in the Air Force Museum out there in Wright Pat that's technically supposed to be haunted. I know that much. That's one I do remember because I've been in that museum a couple times.
Okay, so in Cincinnati, one of the first ones is the Dent Schoolhouse. We want to look at that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The Dent Schoolhouse.
The USS Nightmare, which apparently is an old steamboat and everything. Yeah,
that's got a lot of.
There's a terror town that we want to get out to. Now, some of these are like haunted, like houses kind of stuff and everything like that. But some of these are actually just like real haunted locations that they do haunted like stuff and everything.
Like events and stuff.
Exactly. And then some of the other things we want to get into, like the Moonvale Tunnel, and some of that stuff while we're down bouncing around those areas.
I tried to go there, but one time with me and Erica, there was obviously bad weather. I guess we didn't really check, but it flooded.
Yeah.
So, but it's still there. It's not flooding right now.
So that's some stuff we want to get into down the road for sure. So there's a haunted hotel in Parkersburg that is pretty amazing.
Do you know
do you know the name of the hotel, Mom?
That was a great question, Ann.
Yeah.
And Tyler.
And if you actually have some locations in that area, what we want to do is we're going to swing down to West Virginia, do the stuff that we're doing down there for the con we're going to, and then catch stuff on the way back up. So Cincinnati, that's why I mentioned it, because it's one of the areas that would actually be easier to swing through. So if you have any locations in there, we want to look into it. We'll do the research.
Locations.
Yeah, if you know places that like are maybe more like hometown legends and stuff, things that aren't as easy to find on the internet. Yeah. Oh, that's the kind of stuff I live for, you know?
We're game. Don't get me wrong, we like the bigger locations, but it seems like harder and harder to get into. Plus, our older schedule back last year, it really allows. I forget one mansion I wanted to go to. I don't want to mispronounce it, but it was one mansion. That was a pretty good deal, but we just couldn't get into there, and it's pretty haunted. So,
sorry. We start off down here in the basement. It's a little chilly when we start, and then by the time we get an hour into an episode, I'm burning up.
Yeah, that's okay. We understand. It gets
now, real quick, guys.
Oh yeah, go show them that.
I'm gonna show you guys this patch real quick.
Yeah, go and show them that patch, Ron. Ooh, Jersey Devil. You see it? Yep. There we go.
There we go.
Jersey.
So yeah, we were talking about that Jersey Devil earlier.
Ann says she's been to the tunnel. Which tunnel is it?
I'm assuming she's talking about Moonvale, because that would be not too far of a drive for her.
No, it's not. Actually, you're right.
Yeah, I have to assume she's talking about Moonvale.
I've always want to go there. That's on the bucket list. I mean, me and Eric have been to one over in PA. That's about as far as past Ohio we've been to.
Yeah.
In West Virginia.
I'll be right back, folks.
Okay, go.
Yeah, I got to go make sure my kiddos are still doing okay.
Yeah, Moonville is on my bucket list to do. We tried to go down there couple years ago, and it was pretty flooded. So I know. And if you guys ever want to meet up with us or give us some locations that are lesser known, like you said, we're game. We'll investigate. We love to share. Yes. Oh, I love Moonville. I'm so wanting to go to Moonville. Any experiences when you went there, Ann? This question's coming from Facebook, by the way. So, sorry about that. My singing is horrible. This is real, folks. I just asked Ann if she's had any experiences at Moonville.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I wait for. You want to shoot over to YouTube and see if there's anything?
Yeah, I'll pop back over to there.
You don't want to leave them.
Sorry, guys. I just got to check upstairs periodically just to make sure my kiddos are still, one's still asleep and one's not being a terror, because my son can be kind of a nightmare sometimes.
Go ahead and shoot over YouTube. I'll read this off of Facebook.
Okay.
I want to do Moonville Tunnel. We would love to
join you. Belinda, good night, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Thank you, Belinda. Again, thank you for naming Zep.
Yeah, thanks for naming Zeb, and thanks for staying up with us last night and being the only person we interacted with. We really appreciated that. That really made our night. So thanks again, everybody out there. I know you guys aren't on the YouTube, but everybody give a good night to Belinda. She joined us both nights, last night and tonight, and I just appreciate that. So good night, Belinda, and I hope you have a great night.
We love you. Thank you, Belinda. Have a good night.
And hopefully the painting you were doing was really good. If you don't mind, after you're done, send a picture to our email or like post it to the Facebook, and we'll take a look at it. So good night.
Okay. Yes, and from Facebook, we would love to join up if we can plan something. We would love to explore and investigate the Moonville tunnel.
Now, when are we doing, if that doesn't get canceled, when are we going to West Virginia? It's the end of June, right?
It's towards the end of June.
Yeah, so it's towards the end of June. Yeah, talk to us more towards the end of June. Do you remember what the event is called?
It's the Paracon in West Virginia.
Okay, so the West Virginia Paracon. So if you look up the times around that,
prison penitentiary Paracon.
Yeah, the Moundsville area. Look at that, and then if you want to look into that and see around that time when we're going to be around, then we could possibly link up and do some kind of investigation. I don't think it'd be too far-fetched for sure.
No. As long as the weather's good, and of course we know those fires will clear, so stop worrying. But just be safe out there. That's all we ask, because we want to continue talking to you. Just be safe out there. Be smart. Joe says, hit the music.
Joe?
Hey.
Joe? All right. We'll hit the music one round, guys, okay? So, if anybody has checked any of our videos out on YouTube, any of the couple of recent ones we've done, you will know this opening. We're going to go ahead and play the our new intro song for our new videos and stuff. So it's not the intro video. You can check out the intro video on our Facebook, and we've linked that, our YouTube, and we've linked that to the Facebook. But right now, we're just going to play the song so you guys can get a nice little listen to this. So
it gives me chills every time. It gives me chills. I love it. He picked out a good song.
All right, and this is called Red Stuff. It's by an artist named Neil Cross, and this was provided to us by Audio Blocks. We use Audio Blocks for some of the music that you'll be hearing from us. So let us know what you guys think. While we have a second here.
Okay.
We both know that I was wrong. We both know I'm not like that anymore.
A good song.
So yeah, that's our little intro song. I'm really happy with it.
It's great. It very reminds me. What did I say? Disturbed Sound of Silence. He's got that same voice. Got that same kind of voice. I love it.
But that Neil Cross, he's got a lot of videos, or a lot of music out there, and it's all on Audio Blocks. So if you have something you need a song for, might be worth checking that out.
Any other questions from Facebook and YouTube? We'll shoot it out. Oh, she said, love you guys.
Nah, it was really cool that Belinda
And
came out with
your
us
mom
again
said
tonight.
that is badass.
Awesome. I knew she would like it.
I
Yeah.
know.
My mom's very supportive. Yes.
Yes, she is. She's good.
I'm a man of almost 30, and I still look for my mom's approval because I'm cool like that.
Everyone needs mom's approval once in a while.
Well, my mom and my wife, they keep me on the straight and narrow, you know?
Yeah, my wife keeps me on the narrow. I don't know about my mom anymore as much, but my wife keeps me on the straight and narrow.
Thanks, Joe. We're really happy with how the intros come out. And if you want to see the video that goes along with that, we've got one up right now. Now, that video will be kind of ever changing. You know, we might keep that song definitely for a while.
Yeah, that music,
But
yeah,
the
that
video,
song's
the
nice.
clips you see in that might change in and out as we're doing new investigations or as we're finding more footage we would rather have in there. It might
Yes.
pop in and out. So that was just something I threw together last week that I really enjoyed. So
You put a lot of work into that.
I appreciate anybody who enjoys and likes that. You know, like I said, see the actual video because the way that the video plays out with the footage we have of Chris and I together, I like how it all comes together. So let's get some more questions, guys.
Oh, here's one from Mackenzie.
Uh-oh.
I think she said she sent one, but we probably didn't see it. What is your dream investigation? If you could pick any place in the world, not just the U.S.,
just not the U.S.
the world. Did we talk about this too? By bucket list country?
Well, we were talking a little bit, I think, about, but I don't think we ever went into a lot of detail. Do you have anything off the top of your mind?
For the U.S., it has to be Waverly Hills, bar none. I just wanted to go to that place.
Yeah. Now, for me, for the U.S., it would have to be the Alcatraz location.
Yes, you talked about that.
Yeah,
prison.
because I think that prison had a lot of high-profile cases, and I would be intrigued to see. That's just for the U.S. If I were to go global, I would probably head to South Africa and investigate the area where oh my God. The Jonestown, you know, where the call, the mass suicide. I would be interested to see something like, or to investigate something like that, because to me, there'd be a lot of spirits that would be crying out for help or crying out for somebody to hear them. And I as painful as it can be sometimes, I would like to hear that and to maybe add some peace to their existence.
Mine is, of course, Ireland. Because of all the history, so much history.
Oh yeah,
the fairies.
Oh man, yeah.
God, banshees. There's so much.
Yeah, the fairies, the banshees, all the old castles and stuff that are out there.
There's that stone tape there is going over there.
So I'm gonna say all of Africa because then I could swing through Egypt and stuff. I can go through South Africa and swing through some of those areas. So I'm gonna say Africa would be my dream area because technically, if we look at like Pangea and all those kind of things, Africa is the origin of us as people. So so I definitely think Africa would be the area I'd want to explore. If we're thinking on a global level, if I could just say just the Americas, it would be the Alcatraz Rock, you know?
Yeah, because you speaking of that prison too, if hopefully we don't get canceled, or you'll really love that penitentiary because it's a whole different energy than Ohio State Reformatory.
See, Joe's with me on that, man. He likes the idea of Alcatraz and he likes the idea of the Jonestown because, I mean, any place where a bunch of people believed in somebody so much that they all took their lives as once, that's to me a whole other level.
Wouldn't
you
that
know,
be just like Waco, Texas, too? In that
well, Waco would be another one, but the Waco is a little bit different because they technically like that could have been the government actually killing them, not technically Koresh, you know,
but
killing them. But the Jonestown and what's the other one? It's like it's the one where they all wore Nikes whenever they died. You know what I'm talking about? That's where the drinking the Kool-Aid comes from, I think, originally.
Yeah,
but it's like the people's, it's like the people, something like that. But any place like that where there was just a bunch of people who all collectively died for what they thought was a certain cause, I think the spiritual energy would be next level. And I know it's maybe a little bit morbid, but I'm intrigued by that kind of stuff. It's a little morbid, but
you want to.
I just think that like
lost souls.
those spirits would be the ones that are reaching out, and I could be completely wrong. Those could be the spirits that are just like, yeah. There's a tunnel. I think it's either in Chicago or San Francisco or one of those areas.
Oh.
But there's a entity known as like the Butcher or something, and apparently he like reigns over the spirits that are with him. My dude's getting over bronchitis, guys, so cut him some slack. He's been troopering through videos and stuff, so try not to give him too much issue if he coughs. Luckily, we have a really amazing mic, so you shouldn't have too much disruptions and stuff, So, but I hope we're still going.
Yeah, we're still going.
Yeah, just for some reason the mic on the live, it wasn't going off. I don't know. It could just be lagging. YouTube, if anybody in the YouTube chat could give us a message real quick and make sure we're coming through okay there. And then same on the Facebook, if you guys can make sure we're coming through audio-wise. For a second, it just looked like it cut out on our end. But like I said, my dude's getting over bronchitis, and so just cut him a little slack if he's coughing and stuff. He feels bad about it. I don't think he needs to,
Right. I do. It's not the Rona. Sharona.
Yeah, it's definitely not the Rona.
No. Because we talked about this last night. I wouldn't have gone to the hospital for just a cough.
Yeah.
So it's just what's going on. We're not gonna get into that.
Let's not talk about that. All right, let's talk about something though. I do want to get into this collection that you brought up behind us. Now, we talked a little bit about books last night, and while everybody has the time to read right now, we recommend reading as much as possible, even if it's picking up Kindle versions of everything. Yes. But this collection Chris picked up at a thrift store.
Oh, yeah.
And it's called Mysteries of the Unknown.
By Time Life. Isn't it Time Life?
Time Life. I'm pretty sure it's a Time Life one.
I think so.
Yep, Time Life books. So it's called Mysteries of the Unknown. Another good book series if you're looking to get a broad perspective of some of the weirder things out there. So you have Mystic Places. Yeah, Mystic Places. And it's a series by Time Life, Mysteries of the Unknown. You can Google it. It's pretty easy to find. So there's Mystic Places, Visions and Prophecies. Sorry, my pronunciation was terrible there. Visions and Prophecies.
Sorry, I was someone messaged me on Messenger through the group.
The UFO Phenomenon.
Oh.
This one is one that I really enjoy. Psychic Voyages, and that's like astral projection, things of that nature. And then Phantom Encounters. So it's again the Time Life series, Mysteries of the Unknown. It's a really wonderful, beautiful series, great for the shelf. It looks great whenever it's on the shelf. We've just been talking about books because with people having a lot of time indoors, books are a great way.
I think when those were made, about 90s.
Yeah.
So everything keeps getting researched and upgraded through different experiences. It's a learning process, a learning curve.
Thank you, Mackenzie. I'm glad you responded to that audio check there.
Thank you. And Joe says it's just a little, like, remember we was watching it, it's just a little.
Yeah, with the live streaming right now, we're going to be hardwired soon, but right now we're going off the Wi-Fi. So unfortunately, with us being in the basement, I think it does cut out every once in a while. Hopefully it's not too much to where it's not worth watching. And
Mom says loud and clear.
Good. So we're just trying to make sure we have the best audio for you guys. So
just had a short spin. Yeah. We're not spinning on this end, so hopefully you can still hear us and listen to us.
Yeah, and Joe, you've been here since the beginning, so hopefully most of the information. You've been interactive, so I think a lot of it's coming through. If it does cut out a little bit here and there, just bear with us.
Hey, you're friends with me on Facebook, Joe. If you have any questions for me and Tyler, feel free to ask me. If we can't answer them here. So you know where you can find me on Facebook. I talk to you.
Thanks again, dude. All right, guys. So what are we talking about next, man? Send us a topic.
Your mom just shot a message. I just started reading A Walk in the Shadows. So
Oh,
we're not gonna spoil it for her.
yeah.
but
So
we'll show it.
Mom, we were talking about this last night.
recommend it.
Oh, sorry, dude. Sorry.
It's okay.
We were talking about it last night. A Walk in the Shadows. Mike Ricksecker. It's talking about shadow entities and not just one type of shadow entity. He literally breaks down anything that's ever been classified as a shadow entity, and he talks about all the different experiences
he has and other people have.
Exactly. This book helped shed light on experiences that I've had in my own life. So please, my mom's checking it out. She just heard him and I talking about it and was just wanted to check it out just off of that. So go check it out. Listen to Mike Ricksecker. He has a lot of really great information. Chris is probably one of his biggest fans.
Oh, yeah.
And
there's a lot of bigger fans than me.
I'm sure.
I just watch sometimes because some of the questions are.
He has a lot of great stuff.
I like to listen because I know I have some questions, but I like to listen and learn.
Exactly.
And Joe, if you have the question right now that you're not sure about, but we can try to answer for you.
Yeah, I mean, like anything, there's no really like rhyme or reason or anything specific about this. We're doing this just to kind of have the discussion with people and just to do more for our fans and for everybody in the paranormal field. If this eventually turns into a mass discussion of everybody and we're sharing all these great ideas, could you imagine?
Every Tuesday night. Then he goes Beyond the Shadows on his Facebook page. And he goes for another discussion. He also triangle, the Alaskan Triangle. I'm just now reading into that. So it's just like the Bermuda Triangle. But I have to read into it. He go through a lot of other people's stories and stories of their own. So those are the two that I really, really get into. We stream a lot of our. He had an episode with Frank and Castle. A lot of people said he ruined it, so we're not going to get into that. So, yeah, we're not going to get into it.
Yeah.
Just Zach. Zach does not belong with us.
No,
I don't care if he showed up at your guys' shop or not. That was cool, whatever, but still.
You. And yeah. And then of course I'm just is another really good one. I am a big fan of Jules. Run the Jules as a rap duo. If one of my other patches on that patch I showed you earlier is actually a Run the Jules patch, but LP of Run the Jules, his wife, has a podcast that she does, and it's her investigating paranormal things with her friend. And I've found it really interesting because they, like myself, are just people who are out there just trying to find information and stuff. Paranormal Me and You with Ryan Singer is really great. The Duncan Trussell Family Hour. Duncan Trussell. He is hilarious. Well-versed in paranormal, psychedelics, all kinds of interesting topics, and he can talk for hours about stuff. So Duncan Trussell, and those are just some of the programs I listen to on a regular basis that are related to some of the things. If you get into the conspiracy stuff, and you it's cut off a few times.
Oh, well, I apologize about that, Joe.
Yeah, sorry about any kind of cuts out. So hopefully it's not anything too bad.
Oh, you keep losing. Well, Joe, if you want to jump over to the Facebook one, see how that feed is.
The YouTube, we're gonna go just to Facebook for the night, guys. YouTube, check out BAPS on the Facebook Brunswick Area Paranormal Society. It's really easy to find. Do our bonus episode on there, guys. So
we appreciate you.
We love everything, all the YouTube interactions tonight. Thanks for everything, guys.
We appreciate you.